I'd like to call the meeting to order. And the first order of business is to move us and convene to executive session. Do I have a motion to move us into executive session?
I make a motion to convene into executive session pursuant to approve the executive session minutes for January 2nd, 2024, for review and approve matters related to the privacy of students and their records pursuant to RIGL 4246, for an update on Cato Field, pursuant to RIGL 42465A2, for an update on the Teamsters Local 251 pursuant to RIGL 42465A2, for the matter of Conley versus the Town of Scituate School Department, pursuant to RIGL 42465A2, pending litigation, to hear a grievance filed by the paraprofessionals, NERI NEA, pursuant to RIGL 42465A2 for collective bargaining, and also for the matter of North Scituate Elementary drinking water, pursuant to 42465A2, potential litigation, and for the superintendent's evaluations and performance goals pursuant to RIGL 42465A1, job performance of an individual.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, I'd like to
Andy, can you just, step
Okay, I'd like to call the meeting to order. And before we move to the agenda, I would just like to let everyone know that we met in executive session prior to us opening this meeting. And there were three votes taken. One was to approve minutes, one was to approve a homeschool student, and one was to authorize our attorneys to enter into settlement discussions on the Conley versus the Scituate School Department. So those are the only three votes that were taken, and everything else were just discussion items.
Before we stand for the pledge, I'd like to make note that our safety exits, I'm in a new place and I found them already. The sides of the room.
She's so proactive. It's amazing. Um, anyway, so let's stand and say the Pledge of Allegiance, and then we're going to go on the grand tour of Hope Elementary School. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. So as I mentioned, the first order of business is actually to take a tour of our Hope Elementary School, and which I had the opportunity to read last year to the students. And oh my God, I had an amazing experience. As a matter of fact, as I was leaving, they were lined up to go to recess. And I forgot, of course, whatever I have, I'm always forgetting something. I think it was my pocketbook, and my pocketbook is this big. So how do you forget that? But as I was walking back to the door and they were lined up, I felt these little arms around my legs. And she goes, I don't want it to end. And I was like, okay, I'll be back next year for sure. So let's go take the tour. So we're back and we had an amazing tour of the building and we got a chance to see all of the wonderful work of our students and some of them really aged. They got really old really fast, but we also saw the inspiration of our teachers. And again, I just want to say publicly, thank you. I mean, there's no, in my mind anyway, there's no better profession in the way that you can touch people. So I'm a major advocate for educators. Um, okay, so getting back to the agenda, the next
Kind of
item.
felt like Taylor Swift with my security entourage. All my peeps walking around.
You know, I was thinking Taylor Swift when I was looking at you.
Sorry, guys. I'll take focus.
Okay, we're going to move to the consent agenda. Do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Yes, I make a motion to approve the consent agenda to include the minutes from regular session, January 2, 2024. Bills, general fund bills in the amount of $736,333.09. Grant fund bills in the amount of $82,529.75. School food service funds in the amount of $33,098.16, and Northwest special education bills in the amount of $3,583.20.
Second. Are there any questions or discussion? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, now we got a tour. Now we're going to take a little deeper dive and we're going to ask Rebecca Toomey, our school principal, to come on up and share with us some of the highlights of all the work that's happening here and really the hard work that's going on behind the scenes. So take it away, Rebecca.
Awesome, thank you. Great, thanks. So welcome to Hope. Thank you, everybody, for coming out today. We're really excited to have you here. I hope you could feel on the tour what a special place Hope is and what an amazing family we've become between staff and students and families. And I think we all feel really blessed to come here every day. So on that note of celebrating, we wanted to share with you all of the amazing things and successes that have been happening at Hope, while also always acknowledging that there are places for improvements, but that we have plans to get there and close those gaps and to accomplish the stars, because we really can do that here. So when the kids heard that school committee was coming, as they were preparing their classrooms, they also wanted to share some messages of what makes Hope so special. This is the best part. They don't want to listen to me. Yeah. I can, do you want the volume on my computer? I can pull it up. It'll be quiet for everybody, but.
I got.
Yeah.
My friends and what I like about Hope School is that I like my friends and I think of them as family.
I love school and making new friends. I like seeing Miss Toomey and learning new things.
I love it here at Hope because every teacher is committed to all the students, not just the students in their classroom.
I love the positive and supportive learning environment for our students at Hope School.
I love Hope School both as a parent and an employee. My children came here and loved everything about this school. And once I started working here, I realized just how welcoming and friendly the entire staff is.
I love learning.
All of their personalities. They find all the good in the children. That is my favorite thing about the teachers. It's a very loving school.
Teachers here are wonderful, the kids are great, and the families are fantastic.
My favorite thing about Hope is all the amazing activities you can do, especially along with all the nice teachers doing it with.
I grew up in Scituate, and actually I went to Hope Elementary School, so this is my dream job because I get to work with families that I've grown up with, and to see their children grow and learn has just been the best thing.
My favorite part about Hope School is all the kind people here. My favorite thing about Hope School is gym. It's really fun.
My favorite thing about Hope School is working with an incredible staff.
My favorite thing about Hope School is like the turkey trot and the snowflake shop.
My favorite thing about the Hope School is the amazing staff and even better students.
The after school program. Recess. Miss it again!
Hi, I've been working at Hope School for 22 years. This is my second home away from home.
It's because I have the most wonderful art teacher. She is very kind and teaches me how to create things, and sometimes they can end up by making things like this. And I love Hope Elementary School because there's a lot of nice people and you learn a lot of good stuff.
Hello, my name is Mr. Josh. I'm the custodian here at Hope Elementary School. The thing I love about Hope Elementary School is the staff. They're very friendly, and it's like a family here. We all take care of each other.
I love to check out library books because I love chapter books. I like to play at recess.
I love Hope because of our wonderful students and our awesome after-school programs.
My favorite thing about Hope is that my friends are nice and that I feel like I can talk to them. My favorite thing about Hope is that when I walk in and I need help on my work, I have classmates who are there to help me.
My two favorite things about Hope are the amazing students that I get to spend my day with every single day throughout the school year, and the amazing staff that I am privileged to be working with.
What I love about Hope is how welcoming this community is and what a safe space it feels like.
Hi, we love Hope Elementary School because of the small class sizes and small intimate community. We joined the community last year and we love it, so thank you.
We love our Hope family. We love all of the teachers. We love all the teachers' aides. We love our principal. We love everybody is like a family here. We all get along great. Very helpful. And we're all happy.
I love Hope School because the teachers are very nice. I love Hope School because I get to learn new stuff.
We love the culture of Hope School and look forward to coming to work every single day. In second grade, we work collaboratively together and with other people in our school, and it is the best environment to work in.
Honestly, I would be really sad if I had to leave this.
There's no place like home!
It's
the kids like pushing their teachers and like cheering their teachers on through it too. So, yeah. So moving into some more of the what's happening next at Hope. So in our school improvement plan for the past year, we've had 4 priority areas. 1 and 2 are both having to do with RICAS achievement in the areas of ELA and math. Priority number 3 is science, which we measure through, that should say NGSA, not RICAS testing. And area number 4 is that social emotional learning and well-being that I think we got to really see components coming out of through this through the tour. So we are currently sending out bombarding families with our survey work surveys, and the kids will also be taking them in the classrooms. So we're really looking forward to seeing how the things that we've started putting in place impact the scores as they come through to us. So in each area, I started with our like action steps of currently what's going on at Hope. And then we kind of move into the data from there. But just so you can see like the pieces that we are working so hard to put in place every single day. So as far as tier one, instruction in the area of ELA, so what's going on in the classrooms every day, we're all still fully implementing ARC, but we've also incorporated pieces of the Haggerty curriculum, which is phonics and phonemic awareness in our K-2 grades. And this is closely aligned with the science of reading training that the teachers are going through right now. And then we also were finding that we were feeling as though our students were not as well prepared in the area of writing as we wanted them to be. So we've also been using No Red Ink and looking to implement more next year SRSD writing programs to really supplement ARC and building writers out of our students. We also have a vocabulary word of the week that we do on the morning announcements. Miss Mickelson has been like really spearheading that this year, and that was also something that we took from Science of Reading. The teachers are incorporating spelling, which again, not part of like ARC, but again, finding that it's an area of need for our students. So incorporating spelling back into our curriculum weekly as well. In the areas of tier 2 and 3 interventions, we have some fabulous interventionists that we look at the students' AIMWeb scores as well as their day-to-day learning in the classroom to determine which kiddos need that extra boost and some supplemental materials to really fill those gaps. They progress monitor those students weekly. We have data conversations regarding those students. We bring families in. We talk to the students and actually like show them their progress and their goals and celebrate those wins with them when they're doing really well. We have incentives for like reading and steps. We encourage all students to read at least 30 minutes, which is 2 steps through ARC at home every night, and have some awesome incentive programs for them. We also have been working as like grade level teams to really look deeper at our RICAS data and to have some data workshops and to kind of look at the gap areas that we're finding in our RICAS data, and again, pull pieces that the students need, the skills we're finding they need, and make sure that we're embedding it in their curriculum. We also had a team that met with RIDE actually last week. Representatives from RIDE came out and we were able to look at our data and hear what some other schools in the state are doing that they have found to be really successful. So that's really given us a nice place to kind of start brainstorming and looking at our scheduling for next year and where we can take some of the tips that they gave us and implement them here at Hope as well. So our next slide is that AIMSweb benchmarking data that I alluded to. So that was a change again. Previously, our grades 4 and 5 were using STAR, and this year, for continuity's sake, and to make sure that we were really kind of measuring and tracking the same skills, we're now using AIMSweb K-5. So the interventionists use it to progress monitor students throughout, like on a weekly basis, but all of our kiddos take it 3 times a year. And you can see the growth even from fall to winter. In the fall, we were coming back to school right off after summer, 61.3% of students were proficient. And then in January, when they came back after break, we had made a really nice jump to 72.9% of students proficient. And you can actually see in every grade level the increase in student proficiency. But I also think it's really interesting to look by grade, because you can see this trajectory of more and more students are proficient as they hit 4th and 5th grade, which just goes to show that the interventions that we're putting in place and the amazing work that the teachers are doing in the classrooms every day are really moving forward and closing those gaps. And then next, this is some intervention data. So here at Hope in the area of ELA, we are fortunate to have 1 full-time, 1 part-time reading interventionist. And then we also, because we're the Title I school in the district, have a Title I interventionist that's been able to provide both reading and math support. So you're able to see the numbers of students that we've been able to service in these interventions. So tier 3 are the kiddos that are furthest from grade level benchmark expectations. And then tier 2 are the kiddos that are a little bit closer and working towards. We're hitting a large number of students, but when you look at our data and the number of kids that are not currently proficient, we're even with the wonderful interventionists and jam-packing their schedules, and they literally don't even take lunch half the days, we're still not feeling as though we are able to hit every single kiddo who is not currently proficient in the way that we would like to be. And then our RICAS data from last year. So you can see that grades 4 and 5 actually had pretty good increases from the previous year, which we are super proud about. And we really feel as though the new writing curriculum, the Hegarty, we're really starting from like the ground up with their foundational skills, even in the younger grades. And we're really truly believe that we're going to see an impact in RICAS testing as years go on. And then we set a new goal of 10% in like the next school improvement plan growth that we'd like to see between this year and next year.
What would I do without you, Chris? What's the correlation between the interim assessments
Yeah.
and and the summative assessment and RICAS?
So that's something that we've
Because it
looked
seems
at.
like
Exactly.
you know, the bar is
Yep.
maybe lower. I don't know. What do you think? And you said something that they're doing everything humanly possible, but they still can't get to everyone.
Yeah.
And what do you think is the reason? Is it just bandwidth?
So that's something data that we've looked at and we've started comparing. So Ames Web proficiency is actually the 26th percentile and up. And when we look at the kiddos and their percentile in Ames Web and then their score on RICAS, we're finding that despite the fact that Ames Web says you're proficient between the 26th and the 45th, it's not really until students are hitting the 45th and 50th percentile on Ames Web that we're consistently seeing 3s and 4s on RICAS testing. So as far as what Ames Web says and like who is in need of interventions and supports, the wonderful staff at Hope those interventions are being provided for the kiddos who are below the 26th percentile. But we're finding that the 26th to the 45th, while they're proficient, those are the kids who need that extra boost in order for
So you're working on the
exactly.
the lowest
And that
tier.
really, I talked mostly about our tier 1 instruction and the different programs we're putting into place. Those kiddos in that 26th to 45th are proficient. It's really, they're also our tier 1 kiddos. So by strengthening our tier 1 curriculum, the hope is that their Ames Web, everything is going to come up as well. You guys
tell
good with
I
ELA?
have a lot of admiration for educators in Title I schools. It's hard work. People don't understand how hard the work is, and I commend you all again. But you got to keep at it. It's not something that it's like turning an aircraft carrier. It's so slow.
And it's really about using our data and learning from it and not just accepting
I loved
it, but
that you all meet together and you go over the data, and that's so good. And I think we talked about that at our last round and how that elementary school didn't have that elementary schools didn't have that opportunity. And I just, you know, it's so important, you know.
you're good. So I know I took a lot of time with ELA. I'm going to move a little bit faster through the others, but I think you'll see a lot of like similar themes running throughout. So in the area of mathematics, we've again worked really hard to build that consistency of curriculum. Previously, grades K and 1 were using Bridges, whereas 2 to 5 were using Eureka Math. We are in the progress of moving all grades towards using Eureka for that consistency. Like we've had the opportunity to pilot and use both programs and really seeing which one best meets the needs of our students and pushes them as far as possible. So grade 1 is now this year across the district implemented Eureka. We have a number of like online programs like Extra Math and Blookit that kids are able to just log on to. They finish their work in the day and it's, you know, it's either take out a book or access these online programs, and it's actually targeting like the skills that the teacher is teaching throughout the day and providing extra practice. We have also implemented daily math practice by grade. So again, through looking at RICAS testing and seeing, you know, like what in the Eureka curriculum has not been hit by the time we start testing in as early as late March. So through this daily math practice, we're working to expose the kiddos to those other skills that are not necessarily being hit so early on in the curriculum, but so that they're ready for when RICAS does come around.
So the educators feel as though that they've had the appropriate supports and professional development, and they feel good that they've got their arms around the curriculum and because, we just need to, it's not just here it is,
Mhm.
it takes time.
And I can let them speak to that a little bit more. I think that we need to make sure that we're being conscientious of, when we implement a curriculum, there's a lot of PD behind it. And as we have newer teachers coming in, making sure that they still have that same access that teachers who were here for the original rollout are also having. Does that kind of, yeah. Okay. um, So that's kind of our tier 1 for math. Tier 2 and 3, we have also implemented new intervention programs to kind of close some of those skill gaps that the interventionists are completing. And again, those are 6 to 8 week rotations and progress monitoring. And are they meeting their goals? Do we need to set new goals? Have they now kind of like reached the tier 1 curriculum? So it's constantly using that data to inform our instruction. One of the other things that I think we're really fortunate to have here in Scituate is a STEAM curriculum that the students are exposed to. And something that's so amazing about STEAM, it's the science, it's the technology, but there's also that math component. So the STEAM teachers are actually also, and these are our library teacher, our music teacher, like they are people who are not maybe never thought they'd be teaching those skills. And here they are also pulling apart the RICAS test, looking at the gap areas that we have. And like I walked into a third grade area, a third grade class. You can see it in the picture, using rulers to measure perimeter and area, because that was a area that our librarian discovered on RICAS seemed to be an area of weakness, and that she wanted to help build those skills up as well. And then I didn't mention this on the previous slide, and I think it'll come up a few times, but we have also implemented both here at Hope an after-school program, an in-school homework program at the end of the day, and then also through the Learn 365 grant, an after-school program at Hope Library, because that was life gets busy, and we were sometimes finding that homework wasn't always getting completed at home. So again, trying to provide opportunities to support the kids with their learning, with homework completion, take a little bit of load off the families.
I heard it's so successful.
We do, yeah. And the program already, I was just over there today. I walked some of the kids over, and she said that they're so well behaved and so impressed that they're actually hiring additional staff, and they're hoping by the end of March that they'll be able to take some more kids off the wait list. So. Again, you'll see a consistent trend again with our mathematics AIMSweb data. So 64.7% in the fall and over 10% growth as we moved into January, which like MTSS says that you really want about 80% of your kiddos to be within that like tier 1 proficiency area. So that 75.8% is really mighty close, and hopefully we'll get there in June as well. Again, our tier 1 intervention data. So in the past, we have been fortunate to be able to use our Title I interventionists to support with math as well. Through ESSER funds, we've also been able to have access to a part-time math interventionist here at Hope, which has been absolutely amazing. It's allowed our Title I interventionist to put a little bit more of her focus on the reading kiddos that we weren't hitting. And we're still able to provide that math support. He does a combination of both pulling kids into small groups, but also supporting in classroom like station rotations, which is something that we had talked about when Ride was here, that they're really seeing like even our kiddos who are getting interventions, they kept saying like they need more of the core, they need more of the core. The more time you can keep them in the regular ed classroom and bring those supports to them, the better off they're going to be. So that's something that we have started working on this year. And I think that when I'm back next year talking to you guys, you'll hear even more about it then. So. And again, our RICAS data. So again, you can see grade 4 and grade 5, huge jumps from last year's scores. And as a whole, our school went up 7.1%.
When I was being briefed on the RICAS data for the whole district, I was like, whoa, I've been at Hope. That was such a wonderful gain. And it was really good job.
We're very proud.
Really good job. You should really be proud of that.
And again, we set our score for next year. So we did the 7.1 this year. Next year, we hope to have another 10% growth. So
that'd be great.
Moving into science, we moved towards a new science curriculum this year. It's called Science for Us in K-2, but it's aligned with Gizmos, which is the program for 3 to 5. And teachers have also been supplementing with mystery science. We have found that these like science programs have questions that are more closely aligned to NGSA, and there's also more of a writing component with them, which again was that both like bolstering that area that we're seeing needs help in ELA, but also hitting it in the area of science as well. Through the support of our awesome PTA, we've had a number of science assemblies that we've been able to bring in. We had a STEAM museum, we've had Drums Alive, we had a planetarium assembly, and I think I'm actually shocked you didn't hear that out of the mouths of the kids, because I think that if you ask them about the things that like stick in their minds, I think it would be some of those activities for sure. We were also able, through that same Learn 365 grant, we were also able to run some after school programs here at Hope. So we had a 3 to 5 like coding and robotics program. And now we have a K-2, which is Scratch Junior, which is like that similar. But you can see that picture on the bottom. I just am like blown away with it. So it's basically like this little robot, and the kids are actually writing code on the computer to actually get that robot to move in the exact directions that they want them to. And I sit there and I'm like, I have absolutely no idea how they're doing it, but like they start as young as kindergarten, and it's just the coolest thing. So are you guys okay? Our Mr. Deckney, who is our STEAM coordinator, also put together a brief video, just trying to showcase again, because we think it is something really special that Scituate has.
We like STEAM because we get to use computers. My favorite part about STEAM is that we get to learn about robots and do cool stuff.
My favorite part about STEAM is we learn about Spiro. It's fun.
My favorite part about STEAM is that we get to measure certain shapes. I get to see all my friends, and I get to see Mr. Dickney. Because we get to work with different materials and get to work in groups.
I love STEAM because we get to create many new things.
Those fifth graders that were talking at the end. So like as one of their like final STEAM projects, they're actually putting together a STEAM fair, and every year it has a different theme. But they actually, it's almost like a carnival, for lack of better words, where there's like different stations, and all the younger kids get to come through and see all and like play the games and the creations that the fifth graders have been working on. And again, they're so proud, and I think the kindergartners all the way up are in such awe to see like the things that they're going to be able to accomplish as they go through the grades. Again, our science, our NGSA science data, room to grow, but we're very hopeful that with the changes in our curriculum and the embedding that we're doing through after school programs and through STEAM, that again, we'll see those scores going up. Our fourth priority area, I'm not going to spend a ton of time on this because I know you saw a lot of it as we were going through the tours, but we are fortunate to have 2.5 days of a school psychologist, 2 days of a social worker through ESSER funds, and 1 day per week of a social worker through the school-based mental health grant. They do amazing work with our students, and we're super fortunate to have them here for the advice that they give, for the regulation skills they teach our kiddos, and the ways that they help them to be able to access the curriculum in the classrooms. Not only do they see students one-on-one, but they run lunch bunches, they run recess clubs, they have check-ins. We have one student in particular who's having a lot of issues with truancy right now and getting to school on time. And they've put together like a check-in system, like a reward system. If she gets here on time every morning, those 10 and 15 minutes are crucial in helping her to be able to get here, to feel comfortable, and then to be able to spend her entire day learning. Whereas before we were lucky if we got her here half day. So really important work. A lot of the work that they're being guided by. I know we talk about data so much. We've implemented a SABRE screener that we started last year that it identifies at-risk students and classes so that we are making sure that we're providing interventions for students. Again, using that data to like make database decisions about what skills they need strengthened. And then we've been working hard on our school-wide PBIS, our like positive behavior support. So every teacher has classroom, like great classroom protocols that they have in place, but something that we also talked about at our school improvement team meetings was having something school-wide. So we have had Husky Hoorays where every week teachers can nominate students who have done something really amazing. We've aligned them to our new social emotional curriculum second step that we're implementing. They get their name called on the intercom, a picture taken. It's like a huge celebration every Friday morning. And then I don't know if you noticed as you were walking through, but we have a chart in the foyer in like the main outside of the office. And it's kind of like a catch 'em being good. So teachers, staff, anybody who's in the school, when they find a class following hallway protocols, they give them a star. When they've earned 15 stars, which they're getting really close to right now, they'll decide on a class reward, whether it be a dance party down in the gym or an extra recess, but just something to kind of motivate them to follow those rules that we all know they know. So, and then again, all the spaces that you're able to see on the tour. As I mentioned, not only do we use the SABRES data, but much of our data comes from SurveyWorks. So I'm really looking forward to seeing when those scores come in from the what's being filled out currently. One of the things I'm really proud of here at Hope are all the community partnerships that we have. So I mentioned Hope Library. We are a Special Olympics unified school and have had programs about inclusion and acceptance through Special Olympics. We participate in being a junior Feinstein school. We, in addition to the kindness tree we saw on the tour, we've run fundraiser drives. We had a food pantry that we were able actually to give back to Hope communities through that food pantry that are in need. We participate in High Five Fridays with the high school and the Scituate police station. Kids absolutely love it. It's just a little bit to bring a little bit of joy to their day. And then we also rely on community supports like the Parent Support Network and NAFI. We had an emotional support dog able to come in this summer and just kind of not only providing students support during the school day, but also making sure that we're also supporting families at home with their needs as well. Oh, and one more thing, I'm really excited for this too. We are currently in the process of making cards for senior citizens in Scituate. And then we're actually going to have an assembly. Officer Parenti is going to come out and another SRO from another district with their service dog is actually going to come out. And we're going to do like an assembly with the kiddos and talk about all their good deeds and what it's going to. And then one kind of an old but new priority at Hope and something we really want to focus on is our attendance. So those numbers were pulled from the RIDE portal. As you can see, we're doing 11% better as far as like, so February 6th last year versus this year, 11% better. But I am personally still concerned about our numbers of students who are chronically absent here at Hope. We do daily attendance reports. Mrs. Kenny, our school administrative assistant, calls families every single solitary day. Where are you? Where's your kiddo? Like just making sure that we're doing wellness checks and encouraging them to come to school if there's no real reason for them to not be here. We've been sending home RIDE chronic absenteeism notices once a month to try and it has this chart on it that actually shows the families the average kiddo at Hope and how many absences that student has had and then how many their child has had. And we plan to try and really kind of educate of the importance of coming to school and how much your student is missing. Many of them we have some through in person, some through phone calls. When I see them dropping off late, I've been known to chase them onto 116 out there trying to have a conversation. So just kind of grabbing them whenever we can. It is truthfully sometimes tricky to get them in even when you have a scheduled meeting, because if the student's not always coming to school, then that's a difficult thing to get the parent here too. But we, through our new truancy officer, I actually just met with him yesterday, and we're going to tag team some of those meetings and really work hard on raising awareness of why it's so important to come to school. And as I mentioned, like just trying to support families or students with our morning check-ins and different things that we've put in place to like, what is the problem? Why aren't you coming to school? And trying to problem solve as a team to try and overcome those barriers so that the students can be here. And then we're also, again, as our school improvement team, working on more like positive incentives. Like if you're here, like what can we do? You know, like to celebrate their attendance as well. And that's all I got.
I've just a comment to say thank you to you. Thank you to your teachers. Thank you to you. And thank you to your students. Please let them know how impressed we were with all their work throughout the building. It certainly shows your community, your students, your teachers, you. So kudos.
Thank you.
I had a bag of recycling items and I left it at home. I was halfway here, and since it's so far from here, I couldn't turn around and
That's
make it to the
okay. We'll
meeting
be
on
here
time.
tomorrow too. So
But now I have to come back.
absolutely.
But I did see in your newsletter, which I always read and love, that you are also looking, this STEAM program is looking for all those recyclable items. So I've been telling my husband, don't throw that away. You can't recycle that. I have a separate couple bags in my house just for that stuff. So
Thank you. We
I'll
appreciate
bring
your
it.
support.
I think if I just had some closing remarks, I think one of the things that's jumping out at me is culture. You guys have a wonderful, I want to say loving, but I
True.
feel it, community. And you can feel it here tonight, and you can see it in the kids. And that's a credit to the adults and to the leadership. So I want to congratulate you all, because culture is something that we talk about a lot.
Thank you. That was truly, as we like talked about what we wanted to showcase tonight. You know, we wanted to make our school come alive, and because we all spend so much time here, we truly
Glad
wouldn't
we
choose
got a
another
chance.
place. Yeah.
I'm so glad we got a chance. And you know, I would love to hear more from the children. And we have so many families, even in this Hope area, that send their elementary students to private schools. And if they could just see that STEAM video or just the things that we saw tonight in the classrooms, and I think if we could get some of those videos and put them out on the state, on the town listserv, I think we could really be doing a lot of justice for these schools, you know, and all the work that's being done. You know, I think that it's like a mystery what happens inside that building. You know, it's such good stuff. Congratulations to you all.
Thank you.
Keep up the good work. And team. Okay. Now we'll go to another important part of our agenda, the superintendent's report.
Good evening. So my report is going to focus on Hope Elementary School since this is where we are. And I'd like to start by talking about how fortunate we are that the town of Scituate received the Learn 365 grant, and we happen to be right across the street from the Hope Library. The librarian, Miss Cora, has been fabulous in working with us, and I know that you have a waiting list for that after-school program. So I'm excited to see how that's going to grow and expand and get some feedback from students and families when it's over with about, you know, how that went and how it worked, and so that we can work together collaboratively to potentially continue that next year. Hope students and families are really excited about that particular opportunity, and it provides families with a look at the library that I think a lot of our families have not had. So that I appreciate that collaboration, and I want to thank the teachers here for working so closely with Cora. The program will be after school Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays until 5:30. So I think that in addition to providing students with group activities, a little snack, because we all want a snack late in the afternoon, and some homework help and some academic support, it provides a support and service to working families who may not have after-school care. So that's fabulous. Rebecca and Ozzy, the curriculum director, have met with RIDE representatives to discuss Hope's RICAS data as well as their Ames web data. And that productive conversation is a foundation for some of the work that you have seen here tonight. And Becca's conversation about our interventionists and the cutoff scores. And so I think that that was great foundational conversation to help guide us as we all move forward, because it's not just the Hope teachers or Becca, it's the district as a whole. We're all in this together to support our students. As part of the grant that was received last year at each of the elementary schools, we received some furniture to support alternative learning spaces, which you got to see today, and the social emotional needs of our students. We do know that our students continue to struggle with social emotional needs that are directly connected to our online learning days and COVID. So that space that you've created here at Hope with that furniture, I think is going to help our students tackle some of those struggles that they continue to have. The alternative learning space at Hope has set up opportunities for students and teachers to work together to tackle bigger projects, to expand their hands-on learning opportunities for students, and to address the students' social emotional needs. The additional ELA and math coaches that recently began working in the elementary schools will help Hope reach their aggressive achievement goals, and your goals are aggressive. No word about it. The additional support staff will be critical in helping you close those gaps and continue to be evident from our days of distance learning. We will monitor the effectiveness of those positions and look at the data, dig deep into that data, and it will help drive our decision-making around supports that students will need going forward. I'm going to talk lastly about North Scituate Elementary School and the PFAS remediation plan that we are required to submit to the Department of Health. Parents and school committee members have been notified of that requirement, and I want to be clear that we are just one of a number of schools around the state. Sorry. We are just one of a number of schools around the state that are required to submit this remediation plan with the Department of Health. We will continue to keep parents and community members informed about the process as we go through it. You have the employee updates in your packets. I would like to just note that you know that we have struggled throughout this year to fill positions of paraprofessionals. We've been able to hire 3 this past month. And so that is a good sign so that we're filling some of those paraprofessional gaps that we've had in the past. And that's it.
Brendan? Okay, thank you. The next agenda item is the Director of Finance report. And I think we're going to talk about the budget calendar.
Yes,
Okay.
I was gonna say,
Get
this
your-
is
Get your
the-
phones out, everybody.
this is the least you'll probably ever hear me speak to.
Goodbye,
I have quick
everybody.
remarks.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
So we had the initial workshop where the building administrators will be presenting to the school committee scheduled during vacation of February. So I did shift that date, and you'll see that on the calendar, the cross out and now to February 27th. With that being said, before I talk about the audit, with the budget to actual moving into the 15 months at this point, it's so comprehensive and so important to our budgeting and, you know, the base of what our budget needs to be, as well as our contracts. There's such a deep dive that I want to get into. I wanted to be able to present that at that time as well during the budget workshop. So that's why you won't hear me do it tonight. That's why I said I'll be really quick tonight. In other news with the audit was submitted to the Auditor General last week. Hard copies are at the printer and we are done. And that's it from me today.
With no findings.
Yes, with no findings.
Steph, the only thing I'm seeing here too, I
Yes.
noticed that you adjusted, I'm just looking at what you provided us for the tentative work.
Mhm.
April 16th.
Is that during the other
Yeah,
vacation?
that's
Okay.
April vacation too. So I don't know if you
So
want to
yep,
bump.
I'll ship that out
Okay.
as well. Thank you very
Yeah.
much, Colleen.
Do you have a time for these or like, so we can,
I know that I'm sure the building administrators would appreciate as early as possible, but I know we all have to accommodate as well, but just to keep that in mind because they've been here all day and I'm sure they want to.
So why
are
don't
you thinking 5:30, 6 o'clock?
Depending upon whenever you guys can get
Okay.
here. I think 5:30, if that's possible, would be amazing.
So on the 27th, though, they're just going, the principals will just be presenting. One thing that was kind of in my mind when the presentation was happening, I saw ESSER funding. And I think as part of this process, we need to have some type of planning on what's going and the impact of what we're not going to be able to support. And those things coming from the building principals that that are must-haves, like, you know, and then this is going to be tricky, you know, so.
Yeah, we've asked principals to be very thoughtful around that, to take careful attention to what is ESSA funded in their buildings currently. That's why I spoke about the data. We'll collect the data because they're gonna have to make some difficult decisions about what they think they need to continue and have data to back that up. And are there things that they think we should no longer be doing and replacing with different things that may be working better. So we're having all those internal conversations and principals will be ready to have those conversations with the committee when they present their budgets.
Okay. And I think if they do their budgets, then on the March meeting, we'll have a very deep dive into the budget to actuals for this year. Okay,
That's
so that
perfect.
will be like the first week of
Mhm.
March. So we'll hear from them. We'll see how we did this year, where we fell short, where we had some overages. And that will be our point of departure.
Really think it through.
To
Mhm.
really think through their priorities as far as, and what we have to offer, and then what we're gonna ask for.
Mhm.
So, okay, thank you. Does anybody have any questions for Stephanie?
So the ones that we attend will be the 27th of February. We do not do the March ones. We meet again on April 16th.
That day will
Oh,
be
that's right.
changed. That's
That's
another
right.
vacation. I apparently planned strictly for vacation time.
So the only thing that we have definitively on our calendars right now is
The 27th
is the 27th of
February,
February at 5:30.
Correct.
but we don't attend the budget creation meetings.
Right, right.
And then the April one will be moved. And we don't know when the
I'm waiting to hear on those two, and then June 4th is the FTM.
Yep.
And you can see also, which wasn't on the calendar before, the meeting dates, just so you can see I am working with the building administrators.
Like, once we get the schedule from the town budget committee, I think we'll be able to also figure out when we really need to hone these dates, because that's really when.
we usually go last, but yes.
Exactly, so we can, which I think is probably going to be in May. So this is good, but I think we still have a little wiggle room, so we'll have to wait until we hear from Karen and what she's got to offer, so. Anybody else? Thank you, Stephanie. Okay, we're moving now to public comment. I don't even know if we have anyone on at home.
Yes, we do have someone on. That was really loud. Sorry.
Okay, so anyone that would like to make a comment here tonight, please come on up and state your name and your address and any issues you'd like to talk about. And Chris, if you'd like to notify the people online. Oh, we've got a hand raised. Okay, hi Kelly.
Okay,
Can you
hi,
state your
it's
name
Kelly Coolis.
and
Yeah,
address?
Kelly Coolis, 37th Lane. And I would like to today talk about addressing the recent water issues at North Scituate Elementary. And it wasn't really recent, right? So as a mom, I have a second grader, and then last year we had the lead, and then this year we have the PFAS. And so I really want to know how you're going to handle that and make sure that my kid is going to school to drink okay water, right? Because I have a neighbor who's very knowledgeable on the subject, and he says it's not okay. It's like, this is like not okay. If they have the carbon filter, right? And then so now I'm buying a bigger water bottle, and I'm telling my daughter, who's going to North Scituate Elementary, I'm like, do not fill your water bottle. And that's the honest to God's truth as a parent. And I pay my tax dollars, and I want my daughter to be able to go to school to drink good water. And I'm right now telling her, don't fill the water after your water is empty. Don't fill it. Don't drink it. And we get our water tested. We actually, like, as a family, do this. But I want to know what you all are doing to make sure that my daughter can fill her water bottle. Like, this is not, this
Absolutely,
is like, this
Kelly.
is like coming back to Flint, Michigan, and I'm from Michigan. In Flint, Michigan, the lead levels and all that peril that
Yeah.
happened for that
So
entire community. So, okay, I'll pause.
Yeah, thank you, Kelly, only because I wanted just to acknowledge your concern. I think it's absolutely valid. I know that this has been an issue that has come to our attention, and we are moving quickly to mitigate it. I'm going to have Jason, the Director of Facilities, talk to you a little bit about what's happening, the Department of Health's involvement. And so Jay, why don't you talk to them a little bit about that? And even this week, I actually had conversations about how we're going to fund the remediation and how to mitigate this. So why don't you talk to Kelly?
Hi, Kelly. It's important to know that we have our water tested all the time through the Department of Health. We are working with the Department of Health on this. They're the ones that have tested, retested, and now we're working in conjunction with them to come up with mitigation plan Everything is right on schedule. There's nothing that's being held up. Um, the town council, school committee, everybody is aware. It's not a surprise to anybody, and I feel very comfortable. We do all of our, I guess you could say, water business with Northeast Water, who is a highly respected contractor, engineering firm in Rhode Island, and they are working with us to come up with the remediation plan so that it will be ready to go as soon as we need it.
You just speak, please, to the piece that at this present moment in time, prior to remediation, we have been, or you could speak to this, we have been assured by the Rhode Island Department of Health that that water is safe.
They receive the results, they provide the results to us, and no action has been given to us that we need to take at this time. This is actually something that they just recently started this testing program for. And we're barely on the radar as far as being in the trouble area, but we had been approaching it, and now we're a little bit over it. So now they're taking action.
But
You're putting in, sorry, Superintendent, you wanted?
I just wanted to say, but they have assured us because we have asked directly, is the water okay to be used? And they have assured us that it is. The minute the Department of Health tells us that that water is not okay for staff and or students, we will cease using it and come to the committee and come up with another plan.
But I understand too, it's not digging another well because it's the same water under the ground, but this is going to be a purification system above the ground or whatever. And so it should actually be the thing to fix it permanently. So
Correct.
Kelly, we are waiting for that design. The minute we get that design, I talked to Jay, we're heading to the health department to see if we can get a grant to get as emergency funding to fix it. So we just need to get the design of that purification system. In the meantime, we're sticking very close to the Department of Health, and we are not taking this issue lightly. I don't know if any other member would like to say something.
I think Sam Souza may want to say something, or Jeff Souza, but yeah, we're very passionate about this. As parents, with sending our kids with water bottles, I literally just had to buy a bigger one and I told my daughter, do not drink the water at the school. And then I know teachers at North Scituate Elementary, they're like, they tell their kids, drink juice once their water's gone. That's ridiculous. Like, yeah, that's it.
I hear you. We hear you, and we're going to do everything we can to move it forward. Right now, we're trying to move the design. I don't know if you spoke to Northwest recently, but
I gave Northeast
Northeast.
the go ahead. But the good part of using them is that they're the ones that had already done a study of our system, and they actually did studies of pretty much all the water systems throughout Rhode Island. So they already have a majority of what they need to
do the design work. Okay. All right. Well, we'll certainly, Lori, if you could, just keep the parents up to date where the design is, when it comes in. So
And can I
they're
make
also
another
informed.
point? Can I make another point right now?
Sure.
When you all do the water testing or any of these testings, I want to see the good too, right? I don't want to just see the bad. I want to see like the whole profile of the testing, right? So last year, or not last year, but in November, North Scituate Elementary was bad with lead. And that's all I got. I just got bad lead. And then now I got PFAS or whatever the acronym is. But I would like to see the whole profile of the reading of what my daughter is like,
So the way
getting
that
her.
The way the Department
I
of
know,
Health
right?
does the testing is they test for contaminants one by one. So each month or each quarter, depending on what the test is, we'll get the result for that one product. And then a week later, you might get another one. So there isn't, I've never, I don't think such a thing um, is available that has like one sheet that has everything on it. It's more of a, all right, here's, this one, here's this one. And I have absolutely no problem. It's all public knowledge. I have no problem
So
sharing.
it's a public record, so
Right.
they can, if
And
you're,
they,
if you're interested, Kelly, we can share that
you
information
you
with
can
you.
actually go on the Department of Health website and pull up North Situate Elementary, and you'll
Well,
see.
I'm just saying that when you send the profile, like the readings, then list like, all right, this is good, this is good, this is not good. Okay. All right.
So,
And
and
then we can look at it and like, versus just like a nasty gram, and being like, whoo, what's going on there? Do you know what I'm
so
saying?
any notifications that have to do with increases in any of the substances that they're testing for, the Department of Health has a very clear guideline on what you have to tell them, how you communicate it, and actually how when you communicate it. So
Okay.
Anything I guess that you would say is considered bad has very strict guidelines on how you do it, when you do it, and the process that you do it, and that comes from the Department of Health.
Well, then maybe that's something for the greater school department, to say we are doing good in these categories, right? I would like to see that. All right.
Thank you. Would anyone else like to make a comment at this point in time? We have anybody else, Chris? No? Okay. Going once, twice? Okay. Moving along the agenda, we're doing new business. The first item on under new business is discussion action vote for the Northwest Special Education Collaborative Agreement. Is there someone here from Northwest? Oh, I didn't even recognize you. You've got a beard now. Okay, Brad, I don't know if the superintendent or if anyone has any questions regarding this. Would you like to say a few words about this?
No, you have the agreement in your packet as well as budget information. When we read the bylaws recently, it came to our attention that we are supposed to, Northwest, not we, but Northwest is supposed to provide the committee not only with the agreement annually, but the budget information. So we've included that. I asked Brad to include that for you in your packet. So I would recommend approval of the agreement as presented.
I'll make a motion to accept the Northwest Special Education Collaborative Agreement and Budget.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Okay. Next up is the updated capital plan, and I understand this is what's going forward to meet the deadline for a ride on the 15th. Lori, would you like to take this, or Jay?
It is what needs to go forward for the stage 2 plan for the 15th. I have met with Kyle a number of times to make sure that we have everything that we need to ensure approval. We have also met with RIDE prior to, so that the application, all the questions are answered appropriately, and we are sort of assured approval at the RIDE level when we put that stage 2 in. So that's what's before you.
Well, how much of this of the capital plan will require a bond from the town? Because we notified the town that we would need another bond for the warm, safe, dry. And this was when they wanted to when we went for the water bond. I just have to say this because I have to remind everybody at the committee. I was concerned about putting out to vote to the citizens of our town a bond for water because this bond was coming. And I wanted to use APRA money for the bond for the water system at the high school. And they said that, more than likely this would not interfere with that approval. They would have the support of the council. So now we're coming at the financial town meeting and we will be asking for this bond that has been discussed. But did you and Kyle get to the point where you've culled out exactly how much that is? And if you need my help, and then one more thing, and this is probably for Kelly, be sure, even if we get a rough estimate, we have to, before the 15th, put that North Situate water system in this plan. Because if we don't get any funding from these other places,
So,
then we have to include it.
yep, we'll be happy to put that on the agenda for the next building committee, meeting, so we can make sure that,
But it's the 15th that it's due.
but there is already, I believe there is already,
An amendment?
in the capital plan, I think there's already language that talks about,
Water
water.
remediation?
Yes.
Okay.
So, and as a matter of fact, we're using the contract we have with Northwest. We're making an amendment to that contract in order to do the North Situate,
Okay.
water.
Do you think we could do a Zoom meeting with Kyle so I can go through the plan
Yeah,
before he
absolutely.
submits it to RIDE?
Sure.
And then we can make
Yeah.
a determination about how much is gonna have to sit on the side of the capital reserve fund, which thankfully the town has been gracious enough to increase that to 400,000 a year. And how much we're not gonna reach, that's gonna have to go to another small bond.
He did not have those figures when I met with
So
him.
let's lock
yeah.
those down, because
Yep.
he's gonna need that to submit that to RIDE.
Exactly right.
Okay. All right,
Um,
thank you. Do you need a vote to move it forward? Yeah.
Yes,
Oh, is it just an
it's just
update?
an update.
Okay, you've seen the plan before, it's been in front of you. Okay, do I have a motion to approve Northwest Solutions Work Change Order number 2 and Northwest Water Solutions Work Change Order number 3? This is all related to the high school.
2 and 5.
I'm sorry, did I say 3? I
Yep.
meant 5, 2 and 5, all related to the implementation of the well that will also be linked into Rockland Oaks. And this has been vetted by our attorney. It's been vetted to death. And we even went through the numbers and these change orders, even with these change orders, they're really not that material when you look at the size of the project. And we're still projecting to have, a significant savings once we get all the reimbursements in. So do I have a motion?
Just real quick, so with these change orders, it is the department paying for all of this, or does Rockland Oaks own any part of this?
No, this is all related to our own water system. This is a part of our water system.
So what we have going on our campus?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Well, I see one as a asbestos abatement.
Yeah, so as they were doing the work, we came across, and I think it was 2 6-foot sections of pipe installation that we have to assume contained asbestos. So we had to kind of cease work and abate that, which is what one of the change orders is. And the other change order, and actually on the asbestos one, there's also a date change to when the entire project will be substantially complete. That's in that change order as well. And then the other change order is because of when we're doing the work, they assumed we were doing it over the summer. So that's temporary water storage so that we can keep the school running while we're doing the work.
And why are they not doing it over the summer still?
Because we don't want to hold up the entire project
because of
for
that.
the Rockland Oaks.
Okay, thank you, Chair.
You're welcome.
Make a motion to approve the Northeast Water Solution Work Change Order number 2 and number 5.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Next is discussion action vote on Chartwell's equipment proposal. Stephanie?
I said I wasn't going to talk a lot, but here I am again. You'll see 3 papers in front of you. RIDE has granted us a 2-year opportunity to pay off unpaid lunch bills post-COVID using our nutrition fund balance. They've never done this before. And we do have a surplus in our nutrition fund balance that can be used for this purpose along with other very specific purposes.
Are we still paying $7,000 to Chartwell's
So
when we have a surplus?
actually, well, I have another really good news document for you.
Okay, another nugget.
Another nugget that
Okay.
you're gonna like, yeah.
Okay.
This is my proposal. I did a lot of hard work along with Jay, as usual, us working together, and alongside of Chartwell's to try to think about what would be best. But first and foremost, I did, and you'll see that on my documentation here, want to pay off those unpaid bill debts. I also wanted to update our programming, which is called, it would be Mosaic now. Right now we have NutriKids. That's another use that they let us use these funds for. And NutriKids is really becoming obsolete. It will also assist us with our billing. So to obviously negate the problem above. And you can see the cost out there. Another item that they're allowing us to use these funds towards right now is styrofoam tray replacement because there is a ban of that January 1st, 2025. They do want us to match those funds, but they allow us to match those funds within this surplus fund balance. So I just thought it was a great time to be able to do that. And there's some items that were put on a priority list from Jay and Erin that, really need attention. We've also talked about these items in building committee. However, some of them we would be able to address with this fund, the available funds. So you can see my proposal. I basically wanted to bring this and say, at my discretion, or if you were in agreement to use the funds this way, and what was best for
Why do we have the surplus again?
from the year where everything was
Is
free.
it all the extra money that the federal government gave to districts because of of COVID?
It was during the free lunchtime where we had all that
And if
extra.
we don't use it, do we lose it?
We need to send a spend down plan,
So we have to use it.
right?
All right,
And there's
second,
specific purposes for which.
Specific purposes. And I also ensured that within my breakdown, that I made sure we were still able to use it for the purpose that we use it for, which is to pay for the food service. Because obviously that's my priority.
So,
buying
so
the
what I
equipment?
did is work with Aaron and come up with, I think there's 10 or 12 items on your list
Who's
of
Aaron Chartwell's?
Chartwell's. And I have requested, so there was a company that quoted us all of that, and that's where those figures that you're
What
looking at,
company?
that was Trimark.
Okay, here's my problem. I don't trust them,
Who?
any of them.
Oh, well, I agree with
I
you.
want to be sure
She's not
that
speaking about
there's
individuals.
Nope,
She's
I get
speaking
that.
about, I'm just making it
clear about
clear
the big deep pocket people, that they make money on everything. Are they taking a cut on this equipment?
No.
How do I know?
We also
Well, because I requested directly from me, from Singer, who is on the state MPA, and I haven't
So are
received
you
their quote.
buying this, or is Trotwell's buying it?
I think that I'm buying it.
Right, we'd
Okay.
be buying it because we're using our funds.
Correct.
So
So have a motion to approve the Trotwell's equipment proposal.
I just have one question.
Yes.
Do they have to purchase any equipment?
Who?
Chartwell's. What is that contract? Do we have to just pay,
I
don't want to get you going. I'm not gonna belabor this.
I think it's
So we own, yeah. So that's why when, one of the things that we always talk about is the service line, and that's why we brought it up in building committee too. And some of the benefits to making things a little better are our reimbursement rates will go up when people want to participate more in it. So that gets us more money also. So it's kind of a win-win.
And I trust you very much.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Do we have a motion? I'm sorry. No, we don't.
Can you make a motion? Do you have a question? No.
Hey, Brad.
Hi. Brendan Machowski, 294 Quaker Lane. Just a comment on it. So I noticed one of the things listed is the basically like open air refrigerator for on the go items at 10,000. I just want to remind you guys that at least from what I've seen, the on the go items are like a la carte items, aka items that Chartwell's is making extra money off of that we're now paying for an extra fridge for them to make more. Just, do you know what I'm saying? So basically, the on the go items are not a part of the regular lunch menu. Just
What does that mean? So
so
can you come up and explain your on-go items and somebody from Chartwell's here? No.
No, no, and this is, that was just their
Sorry.
potential list that was made along with Jay.
Do you want to work for Chartwell's? And I really do trust you now.
But on my list, you won't see that item.
A little like her.
So, okay, so I think I see what you're referring to here. So there's something that's an open air merchandiser and it's almost $11,000. So how is an open air merchandiser? Great point. And maybe there is a good reason. How is that benefiting our school?
So that wasn't on my list of things, that's on the list that they made. I just had to make a
Okay.
priority list. So on our list, I did what I thought would be most beneficial to us.
Yeah,
That's why I
our
said,
list.
And we nixed
right.
oh no.
We
the
nixed
merchandiser.
that.
Okay.
Yes, we did.
Sorry, I
No.
didn't
got
even
me.
see that there was a second list. Sorry. Thank you.
So everything that you have on here, Stephanie, is something that will benefit our lunch program.
Right.
It's getting late.
I'd like to make a motion, whatever, I'll just agree to it.
Yeah, okay. Do I
All
have,
those in favor?
do we have a second? Do
I'll
I have-
second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, keeping up with us, Patty. Okay.
Want me to do the next one?
Yeah, if you don't mind.
I make a motion to approve the second reading of policy 3065, commercial activities.
This is a second reading, so I second the second reading.
All right, I just wanted to make one comment very quick. I noticed that in paragraph 4, that first line refers to the letter B. I think that is intended to be a number 1.
I
since
get a
the
look.
Paragraphs are numbered.
I gotta look at this. It's not in our packet, is it?
Yes, oh, it's not in the printed packet, no.
Hold on. Well, is that like a typographical correction, right, Sean?
I believe so. I just wanted to bring it to the attention of the committee
Right,
because
so let me write that down so we can at least make that correction, but that won't change the vote, correct?
if you all understand that that change is going to be made, it's fine.
Yeah,
Go
so
over the vote.
since I don't have it in front of me, and I just want to make notation, where did you say it was?
Paragraph 4, the first line. There's a reference to letter B, but the paragraphs are numbered, not lettered. So I would suggest you change it to 1. Send it down if she wants to look at it.
You want to see it now? Thank you. Gotcha. Yeah, thank you. No, I see that. I think that's back. So I make a motion to, with the second reading of policy 3065, commercial activities to include the corrections as noted.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Do I have a motion to approve the 23-24 school calendar revision to include an extra snow day?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Discussion action vote for the selection of school committee members for secretary contract negotiations. Are you Mary? Oh, okay, now it's all coming together, Mary. I just wanted to mention that I don't recall a school committee member being part of that committee. It typically has been handled, and Erica or someone help me out here, where the director of administration has been the one. Were you involved in the last one?
June was involved before June left the committee. I know that.
Oh, there's.
And I don't know if
always
that
been
was the last.
one? Oh,
It was in Ed Myers going back prior to that had been involved.
A long time ago.
Yeah, so
I've never seen it, so, but I just talked to June this week, so, how do you guys want to handle it? Do you wanna, or superintendent, do you have any?
So,
It's our decision, right?
so Sean, when I spoke with John about this, Sean, let me know if I'm saying this correctly. Because the secretaries are all wanting one contract for all of them, as opposed to each secretary having their own contract, that is, oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, you're gonna have to come up to the mic.
And
Let me-
don't forget to
Do
say
you want
your
me,
name.
yeah, do you want me to
and
just finish what
address.
I'm saying and then you can correct me?
Sure.
So just to hear me out, and so like I said, I think I'm trying to recant what John Anderson, our school solicitor, explained to me. That even though you're not a union, you can still bargain together in one contract. Am I saying that correctly, Sean?
If they're looking to bargain together, but they are not in fact a union certified by the Department of Labor.
Correct.
Lori, how have we treated that in the past? Because I'm not entirely sure about that, and I wasn't privy to that conversation with John.
yeah,
Have
when
you
I, so I think just historically, and we can say that my understanding since I've been 10 years maybe.
Except for the last two, I think, because not Mark, what was his name? Matt Bavola.
Matt did one.
He did
And
it
then I
himself,
did the
and
last
she
one.
did the last one.
Okay.
Like
But
I
we
just don't
can-
know this.
I'm not adverse to it. I just want to
Yeah.
be sure what we're gonna do. That's all.
Yeah. So go ahead.
Hi, I'm Mary Kenny. I work here at Hope.
We'll just need your address because
Oh,
it's
okay, I'm
for the
sorry.
secretary.
511 Log Road, Smithfield, Rhode Island, 02917.
Thank you.
I just wanted to be able to discuss the opportunity of maybe not doing it as together and doing separate contracts. I just wanted to
Oh,
maybe think about that
okay.
as an option for us for going forward.
So.
That's a whole different story.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know how anybody else feels. I let them know that we were doing this tonight.
Okay.
So I'm not sure where anybody else stands on this.
So Sean, how does that work? If there's a few secretaries that want individual contracts and
they're not
we're not
union.
sure how everyone else feels about
Right.
it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Because you're not representing them, you're just
well,
representing
Right,
yourself.
myself.
So may I can I take a step back first? I want to go, how did this land on the agenda?
Mary asked it.
Okay, I wasn't sure.
Mary brought it to our attention.
Yes.
Erica asked. that it be
Well,
put on.
so
For discussion.
part of the issue that I'm now seeing here is that we have a agenda item that refers to the selection of school committee members for secretary contract negotiations. And it is not about the school committee making a decision about how it wants to approach contracts. So I want to advise the committee that if this is the discussion that it wants to have, that we come back at your next meeting to have that discussion.
Because it
So,
needs to be worded differently.
Correct.
Why,
that make sense?
why can't we have the discussion the way it's worded?
Because
W-
it's
the-
an open
your-
violation.
No, I know that.
The agenda is worded, selection of school committee members for secretary contract negotiations. So your discussion and action is not about how you want to treat
Who
the
to select.
negotiations. It's
Yeah.
purely the selection.
Of a person.
Of
That's the
a
only
person
thing
or
we advised
persons.
on the agenda was if we were selecting one person from, we were just debate,
Yeah,
so.
yeah.
But why would you need to select more? Like, I don't understand.
No,
why
so
wouldn't it
just for-
be one member?
So
Why
it's
does
a
that-
couple different things coming up right now. So as a school committee or any public body, we can only discuss in an open session, in any session, what is listed on our agenda.
Okay.
What is listed on this agenda was the way it was placed on the agenda was us selecting a member
Mhm.
to move forward with a process we did in the past, not most recently.
Okay.
What
For
we're
one contract for all the secretaries.
Yeah,
That's
what
what's on
we're
the
hearing
agenda.
you say now is that may not be how you want, and you're speaking just for yourself, like you
Right.
said.
Mhm.
It may not be how you want to move forward. we can't have that discussion.
Okay.
If that, I know it's,
Because it's not on
No,
the
I
agenda.
understand.
right, because what here is, we were just thinking, okay, which one of us is gonna,
But can I
be
ask
the.
you a question? That.
It's not saying no to what you want, it's just saying we can't have the discussion right now, is that clear?
But why do they have to have the why does that discussion have to happen with us?
It may not
I
have
think
to,
not.
but we
You
just
have
can't
to
talk
get
about
the
this.
Attorney, John,
Mhm.
right? He's the one who has to say, where does that decision lie? And it's gonna probably be with the superintendent
It
of
is,
schools.
absolutely.
Because she's in charge of the operations.
Yep.
So I know you said it was our discussion, but it looks like it's coming right back to you.
I don't
Yeah.
believe this belongs on the school committee agenda.
I know.
I'm not,
Well,
And
let's get a better right. Let's go offline
Mhm.
and the superintendent and John.
not
can
to
have
say
them
we don't
both.
wanna hear your concern, if that makes sense.
The
That makes
point is
sense.
that they can address it and get back to you,
Okay.
okay?
And,
Yes.
and just to be clear, it's on the agenda because it was, it was my interpretation that you wanted one person to negotiate one contract for all the secretaries. So when I asked our solicitor, he said, yes, that's appropriate because blah, 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 blah. And he explained to me, even though you're not a member of the union, you can still act that way. And so that's why I end up on the agenda. But now we will definitely come to a conclusion of this, and I'm glad you came forward.
Okay, thank you.
And I'm glad we were at your school tonight.
She's gonna follow up.
Yeah.
I'm glad you were at your school tonight, so you didn't have to
too.
sit here all night to wait to get up to this last thing.
It was a great tour, right?
Well,
It was a
yes,
Great
it was a
school.
great- yes.
And a great principal.
Yeah.
And the good news is you don't work for John Wells. That's a great
I
thing.
know.
Oh my God. Okay, so the last item under new business is discussion action vote for the Rhode Island Student Survey. This is the behavioral risk survey that's from the Department of Health. I believe that we also get a grant. If we administer the survey, Erica, does that mean?
Yes, so what's happening with this, we've been doing this forever, right? Every 2 years.
Yeah.
It started from my records back in 2019. What? Okay, and this is the survey pretty much stays the same each time they do it, just for the fidelity of the entire survey. RIDE is also approved of it. Right now, the benefits the department is getting from this, some of the benefits we're getting is, there's an empowering parents newsletter that goes in the middle school, high school newsletter. I know that our athletic director is doing a program through these monies that you get as a result of doing the survey called Sideline, educating parents about youth injury and pain management. There's also a Thrive Teen magazine. There's Raising Healthy Kids newsletters. Tobacco compliances are still being done. So it really, it does, it oftentimes can dovetail with other grants like the opioid monies that we're getting. So yeah, something we've done each year. Just want parents to know that they can opt out. Students don't have to answer questions they don't want to, and nothing's really changed. We've been doing this for every 2 years.
I just would like to bring to your attention, Erica, and I'm not the only reason why, because I know you're the closest to this survey. There's questions on the survey that look like they've been added. Like, for instance, this is going to, like, how old are you? 10 years old or younger? Are you 11? Are you 12? What grade are you in? And it says 6th and 7th and so on. And then it says, please describe. Some people describe themselves as transgender when their sex at birth does not match the way they think or feel about their gender. Are you transgender? This is a 6th grader.
And they don't.
No, I am not transgender. Yes, I am transgender. I am not sure if I'm a transgender. I do not know what this question means. And then number 5, it says, which of the following best describes you? Heterosexual, straight, gay or lesbian, bisexual, not sure. And I'm concerned about some of these questions. By the way, I read the survey. It's an amazing survey. We need this data. I just know this community. I've gotten feedback on a lot of things in this community. And I want this survey to go, but I want to have the parents have the opportunity to see it and opt out if they don't want to do it because of these questions being added.
Those questions were not added.
They weren't?
The only questions that were added were cell phone addiction, gambling, and edibles.
So was this put out last year to our
Two-
community?
2
And
years
they-
ago.
And we had no problems with it?
It's every 2 years.
So 2 years ago, it came out and these questions were there.
And parents absolutely can see the survey. They can absolutely opt out, and students don't have to answer anything they don't want to. And they're
Okay.
told that from the get-go.
Okay.
This is,
And by the way, it's just the age. I mean, I don't have I don't have a problem with these questions going to the older students at all because, you know, they're understanding more about the world and themselves.
which is
It's
probably why
middle
one of
school.
the answers is, I don't understand the question.
Yeah, but it's.
They may not even
it-
understand it.
and It's sixth and
It
seventh
is, but
grade.
it's 22.
Actually, it's not 6th grade.
Yeah, it is.
I thought it was 7th and 8th. Did it say 6?
No, I was gonna say, I thought you said
I
under
talked to-
10
when
years
I
old
talked
is
to
not
Lori,
sixth grade.
it's she says it was,
middle school.
it said middle school.
I thought it was 7th and 8th, but I have to go
Because
back and look.
12-year-olds
Okay.
middle school.
All right, so do I have a motion to approve the behavioral risk survey to be administered?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any announcements tonight?
I would just like to say thank you to our Hope community for welcoming us and keeping us.
Filled
keeping
it,
you-
Becca.
We filled your the hours, great information. It's certainly clear that you have an abundance of support around you, so it was fabulous. I just have one other announcement to make I'm kind of proud of. Tomorrow night, the Scituate High School will be hosting an all-girls wrestling exhibition. So at the high school tomorrow at 6:30, RIIL. I know this might not be. Sorry. Yeah. Yes, and
I'm sorry, what is it?
tomorrow night, our high school is hosting of the first all girls wrestling exhibition. It's an exhibition tournament. RIIL just sanctioned girls wrestling this year. Believe it or not, Scituate has the highest number of girls for one of the second smallest school in the state behind Block Island. We have the most girls on our wrestling team. So, yeah, no, so, but they're a great bunch of kids, but,
Broke the glass ceiling on that.
yes, so I just thought it was a very positive thing. Tomorrow night at 6:30 at the high school.
At the
I
high
know,
school?
at the high, I get it, but I just wanted to.
That's great, Colleen.
Yeah,
Really.
no,
that's great.
it's a positive.
Yeah.
We should probably get them in here and just kind of.
So I hope, I don't want to project I don't want to say it because
Don't say
I think they might, if they have all girls, so it's, Jay can help me with this, I think. Because it's sanctioned now, they're gonna have a state tournament. And because of our number of girls, the girls actually might win the girls state tournament this year.
Oh my God.
And it's, again, it's. I know, no, sorry, I don't mean it, but anyway.
Buy the cupcakes.
Yeah. So anyway. And the boys wrestling is doing fabulous too, by the way. It's just new, girls in wrestling. in Rhode Island,
What a
and
great.
Scituate is leading the way. That's what makes me so proud.
We want them for a high five Friday.
Oh my God, they'd love it. They'd
Oh,
love it.
great, yeah.
You have a couple of your seniors, I think, that were elementary kids.
Any other announcements?
I'd like to make a motion to adjourn.
All those in favor? Aye. Thank you, everybody.